All right, guys. So I just wanted to walk you through this particular assignment. This is going to be my example for you. I'm just going to walk you through how I want you to do this and how to use Google Drawings if you choose to, but you can use whatever software you want to. So looking at the instructions, it says use King Louis's Day in the Life reading, and you're going to create an invitation to a party at Versailles. Okay, so I want you to have fun with this. I want you to be creative, but there are a few things that I need you to include. Okay, so first off, I need you to include the name for the party, the location and date, just like you would if you were inviting people to a party. A schedule of events for the day. It is going to be an all-day party. So I want you to include at least 5 specific events mentioned in the reading, and you're going to figure out a way how to weave that in. The funnier and more creative you are, the better. If that's not really your jam, that's okay. Just follow the instructions to the best that you can. I also want you to include an image representing each of the 5 events. So if it's his wet nurse kissing him in the morning, you need to figure out how to include a picture of that. So 5 pictures. Okay, the next, a historically relevant hashtag for the party. So you need to come up with some type of hashtag, something that your people in Versailles are going to be able to post to social media. So my example is I am the state. Okay. You can't use my example, but you can use examples that are like it. So something that is relevant to King Louis and his reign. The more creative, the better. I also want you to include historically inspired instructions for guests. So what should they bring? How should they dress? What should they do when they come to the party? How should they act? Give some creative instructions. This doesn't have to be in one specific format. Like, you don't need to make a list for me. That doesn't make a very cool invitation. I want you to be as creative as possible. You can use this digital format if you choose to. You can draw this on paper. You can use any format you like. Like if you know how to use Canva or some of the other things that are out there, feel free to use whatever you want. Just make sure you can turn it in on Google Classroom. So I just want to walk you through a couple of the functions. If you're comfortable with that, you know what you're doing, you can go ahead and move on. But if you want to learn a little bit as far as how to use Google Drawings, then go ahead and stick with me. So for me, if I'm going to start, I want to insert some images to try to make this kind of cool. So if you want to put a picture in the background, you have a couple of options. You can go to insert here, or you can come up to insert here. I'm going to go here just because it's easier. And you have the option to upload from your computer, search the web, drive, your photos, which you probably won't have any Google Photos unless you have an Android phone. That might work. But I'm going to search the web. So I just want a tie-dye pattern. Okay, so I want to have a tie-dye background. Well, that's not going to work. It's because I didn't say tie-dye. Tie-dye. Okay, so I want to put tie-dye in my background. It might be a little bit crazy, but that's going to be the one that I choose. It looks a little crazy. So I want to kind of I like the tie-dye, but I want to tone it down a little bit because it's going to be kind of bright. So I want to go to adjustments. I went to format options, adjustments. I'm going to make it a little transparent, so a little bit see-through, so it's not quite so crazy. Okay, all right. So now that's the backdrop to my party invitation. So now I want to make a title. So I'm going to insert, and let's see what options we have. So word art's probably my best option because that's going to give me like the cool like outlined words. So I'm going to say party at Versailles. Okay, so party of Versailles, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to kind of twist it, make it fit. I'm going to pick a different font, so something a little more festive, maybe change the color. All right, I'm going to make it white on the outside. I'm going to make these lines a little thicker. Okay, cool. All right, so I have a name, and I need to pick a location and a date. All right, so first thing, I know for sure that it's at Versailles. So if the Versailles is in the title, you don't need to. All I would say is insert word art, Palace of Versailles. And you know what? I'm going to add France, which, I mean, because if you're inviting someone from a different country, they might not know. So we're going to say it's in France, and we're going to say starting at starting at 6 a.m. because that's when all cool parties start. It's at 6 a.m. All right. And you can edit these to make them whatever you want to look like. So starting at 6 a.m. And then if you want to include the year, you can do that. The more specific you are, the better. And now I want to schedule events. So you can, so like, let's go with that first event that we read about where, so let's make a schedule. Schedule. Okay. So schedule of events. So I'm going to label it so I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to make it look a little different because everything's starting to look a little bit the same. All right. So my schedule. So I'm going to go back to my document. Let's see. Where'd my document go? All right. So let's click on the document. All right. So day in the life of King Louis. So I know at 8 o'clock in the morning, the king is going to be awoken by his first valet de chambre. Okay, cool. So we're going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So insert word art 8 a.m. And now I need to have some type of image. Actually, let's say wake up. Wake up. All right, cool. So hashtag wake up with the king. So waking up. So now I need to include an image that's representative of that. So I'm going to go to insert, or you can click on the image button, image. I'm going to search the web. And I want to find, let's just say waking up. Waking up. All right. And I think the cat is pretty cute. So I'm going to bring that over here. Cool. So waking up with the king. But I have to think about, it's not just waking up. So if I go back and I look at the article, what was it? So the article said that he was awoken by his valet de chambre. Okay, so I need to have the valet de chambre in there somewhere so that it is historically relevant. So we're going to say that this is the king. All right, so I'm going to turn him into a king. So let's say I want to make a crown. And if you want something that like doesn't have the edges, you say transparent. All right, cool. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to giant crown, I'm going to make it a little smaller so it fits on the kitty cat's head. I'm going to make it really small. All right. All right, so we have the king kitty. And we need to have, let's say, someone poking someone. Can I use that? Poking you? No. How about just a pointing finger? Pointing finger. All right, so I'm going to drag over that pointing finger. All right, and this is going to be my person that wakes him up. Okay. So wake up the king. Yay. All right, so that's one example of like how to walk through the schedule. So the next one, you want to put in your relevant history hashtag. So I'm going to insert image, search the web. Well, we don't need to insert an image. We need to insert word art. And so hashtag I am the state. Oops, I made a space. All right. And so you can put that hashtag wherever you want to. You're going to have to get a little bit creative as far as how you lay it all out and how you do it. So this is, the hashtag has to be somewhere. Looking at some of the other instructions. So it has to be colorful, it has to be creative. So we got creative with our little kitty hat and our little pointing hand describing what happens. I'm going to insert a text box here. I'm going to include this in the instructions after this video. Describe what's happening. So king is awakened by the person You want the accurate description. So it is the, forgot already, the valet de chambre. So, valet de chambre. Okay, so king is awakened by the valet de chambre. That's not big enough. Okay, so I'll add that to the instructions that I want you guys to do that. Okay. So then historically inspired instructions. So this doesn't have to be like a list of instructions. This could just be like, insert dress your best party time. All right, that's going to be one instruction. I'm going to put into the instructions that I want you to do 3 of those instructions, just so it's a little bit easier. Okay. So be creative. Work through this. Do as much as you can. If you have questions, let me know. Again, you don't have to use Google Drawings if you don't want to. This is just one option if you don't want to do it on paper. But if you're an artist and that's what you like to do, I encourage you to do that. That's probably what I would do. But it's totally up to you. Okay. So there will be updated instructions from this video. So I'll be looking for those on the side. But this is kind of the walkthrough of that. If you have any questions, let me know.